nation's favourite, your friend by your bedside. The latest hits and the greatest memories. Information, news, sport, music and entertainment, requests and dedications. 99.5 FM.
Good morning from the News and Current Affairs Department of OK Communications Incorporated. This is Trokon Freeman with news night. The 45 minutes of all of the latest developments making news in Liberia, Africa and elsewhere in the world. It is Tuesday the 10th day of July 2018. And our top stories this morning for recommending US dollars as the loan legal tender for Liberia. Representative Hanson Kazalo tells Dr. Chambers to stay off economic issues. Says the House Speaker is limited to fiscal matters. No more care for others. Rescuers abandon rescue mission. Chose spilled fuel from Somersault oil tanker over dying driver whose vehicle collided with the truck. Liberian cleric and National Board Authorities board member Bishop Goer says the country's economy is on the right trajectory, contrary to reports that things are difficult. But some Liberians' reaction disagree, saying the clergyman's analysis were unrealistic. Reports say more than 10 children have been affected due to the insurgence of measles outbreak in Grand Bassa, while in Nimba, a mother seeks financial assistance for 1 week old baby who carries water in her brain to undergo saturated abroad. Away from Liberia, the leaders of Ethiopia and Eritrea have signed a declaration saying the state of war between the two countries is over. The details of these stories and other developments, including the news bulletin and their reaction on our Facebook story page, are packaged in today's presentation of the program. Thanks for being there. Next is Augustine Kollie and the news bulletin. Augustine, good morning.
Good morning, Trokon. Good morning, everyone. Montserrat County District 17 Representative Hanson Kazulu says House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers is economically limited, while urging him to keep quiet over economic issues affecting the country. Representative Kazulu comment is in reaction to Speaker Chambers' recent proposal that the legalization of the United States dollars as Liberia's tender would stabilize the country's suffering economy. He added that Speaker Chambers' proposal is economically weak and does not fit in any economic analysis that could improve the people's condition. He said the current economic crisis in the country requires a practical approach to address harsh realities facing the people. Commenting further, the Montserrat District 17 lawmaker further frowned on Speaker Chambers for attributing Liberia's problem to former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Representative Hanson Kazulu noted that the Speaker blame game will not in any way help to ease the current economic nightmare facing the state. Slipway in Central Monrovia was a scene of attention when residents who had gone on a rescue mission abandoned their mission for spilled fuel. They were attempting to save the life of a man yet to be properly identified who almost got killed in a motor accident. A fuel tanker heading to an unknown destination experienced failure while climbing the Johnson Street hill and later had a collision with the white Jeep, thus causing it to fall in a pit. A reporter who went to the scene said, to the disappointment of the bystanders, the rescuers later abandoned their rescue mission and started dipping spilled oil from the tender. Eyewitness accounts said the driver of the tanker immediately fled the scene following the accident earlier for fear of being mobbed by angry citizens. More than 10 children have been affected as a result of the resurgence of measles outbreak in Grand-Bassa County's District 3. This was disclosed Sunday by Grand-Bassa District 3A Community Health Supervisor James Lassier. According to him, the measles outbreak, which has lasted for 2 weeks, is gradually producing an increased number of affected children. James Lassier told reporters during the weekend that unlike those who have taken their children to nearby health centers for treatment, the Grand-Bassa County Health Team is yet to respond to the outbreak in the district. He has expressed fear of experiencing widespread measles outbreak if health authorities do not act quickly. Meanwhile, the Community Health Promotion Supervisor of the Grand-Bassa County Health Team has denied knowledge of the outbreak in the district. Madam Ruth Cohn has, however, promised to make follow-ups from the District Health Supervisor concerning the latest report. A 41-year-old baby mother in Nimba County is seeking financial assistance for her baby to undergo medical operation abroad. Medical report from the Esther and Geraldine Hospital in Nimba County states that the 1-week-old baby was born with water in the brain, which requires treatment out of the country. The mother of the child, Victoria Dunn, has expressed worry over the medical report and is requesting for funding from philanthropists to help save her baby's life. According to the baby's mother, the amount needed to fund the treatment of the baby abroad is very huge, stating that her family has no means of generating said amount. A reporter in Nimba County, Franklin Dolokwe, said, following the SOS call by the baby mother, Nimba County representatives Jeremiah Cohn and Roger Doma have presented $15,000 Liberian each to the woman as their initial assistance towards the plight of her child. Businessman Musa Ability has called on the CDC-led government to improve its public relations arm in propagating government's plan for the people. He wants the folks at the Ministry of Information to desist from attacking people criticizing the government and focus on the issues affecting the state. Mr. Ability added that the lack of communication from government to the ordinary people is also responsible for the current economic pressure on government. In conversation with this station, the Liberian businessman said he views the country's economic crisis as something that was earlier pronounced by the former president Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. A board member at the National Port Authority, Bishop Matthew Guer, says the country's economy is on the right trajectory, contrary to reports that things are difficult. Speaking Monday in Monrovia, Bishop Guer said the living condition of the ordinary people is getting better, evidenced by the price of basic commodities on the market. Bishop Guer, who is on record of prophesying the Weah presidency, stressed that the poor people conditions are far better than previous administration in the country. He told the OK Morning Watch that the inflation of the U.S. rate is not affecting the economy, prophesying that by October the country will rise and shine. But several Liberians who phoned in during the program blasted the bishop for what they termed as insincere and unrealistic comments surrounding the country's economy. The callers, in harsh tones, however, questioned why Bishop Guel would intentionally ignore the plight of the poor people by defending the government. Plans are said to be on the way for the establishment of the first doctorate-granting university in Liberia, Africa's first independent republic. This was disclosed during the weekend by the founder and proprietor of the Best Brains Academy, Reverend Luther Tapper. Reverend Tapper, in an interview with this station, said the institution, when established, would be named the Best Brains International University. Tapper intoned that it was unfortunate that the University of Liberia, which has a long history of existence, is yet to offer doctorate, adding that this is one gap he attempts to breach. A professor at the University of Liberia's A.M. Doherty College of Medicine, Dr. Joseph Njor, is expected to launch a book shortly in Monrovia. The book is titled The Beginning and Growth of Modern Medicines in Liberia and the Founding of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. The book, according to Dr. Njol, covers the history and evolution of modern medicines in Liberia since the 1820s. Dr. Njol added that the book, which will make Liberians proud of themselves, narrates on how great Liberian men and women of the past, with very limited resources, made history in the medical field. The professor noted that history would have been forgotten had he not been able to go through the tough task of researching and writing this book. Dr. Njord concluded that the research is intended to celebrate those medical practitioners to help to inspire medical students in the sciences field. At the same time, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer at the John F. Kennedy Medical Hospital has applauded Dr. Njol, who has brought proud to the institution. Dr. Daman Yeketsin Kofa said the research has brought proud to the youthful generation wanting to study medicines in the country. Meanwhile, the deputy CEO has said the health facility has been cursed and therefore needs deliverance. She said praying for the health sector will form part of the entity's initial celebration of brave men and women in the medical field. UN Women Liberia has commenced a 5-day capacity building training in gender-sensitive reporting. Speaking at the opening ceremony in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, UN Women Program Manager Dokba Mabandi stressed that the UN agency will collaborate with the Liberian media in highlighting gender issues. Mabandi said the media serves as a key ally in the government and advancement of women and children's rights. He added that the training will help government achieve one of its sustainable development goals of ending violence against women. And the Federation of Liberian Youth has called on students of the University of Liberia to abandon their street protest. At a news conference Monday, FLAD's President Augustine Tamba said a street protest is not the only means of expressing the current economic situation in the country. According to Mr. Tamba, the students have good argument but need to channel their grievances in a more formal manner as the youth organization remains supportive to the student community. At the same time, Mr. Tamba has called on government to be open and provide relevant information to the students and the Liberian populace on the current economic devastation. And that's the shape of the news bulletin.
Many thanks to you, Augustine Bill Kollie. Augustine returns later on to bring you for developments. If you just joining us, listening to Newsnet on OKFM 99.5. My name is Trokon Freeman presenting, and it's 12 minutes have passed 6 o'clock here in Monrovia. And our top stories this morning: for recommending the US dollars as loan liquor tender for the country, Representative Hyson Kiazaluka tells Dr. Chambers to stay off economic issues, says the House Speaker is limited to fiscal matters. No more care for others, rescuers abandon rescue mission. I chose spilled fuel from somersaulted oil tanker over dying driver whose vehicle collided with the truck. Liberian cleric and National Port Authority's board member Bishop Goe says the country's economy is on the right trajectory, contrary to reports that things are difficult. But some Liberians' reaction to the bishop disagree, saying the clergyman's analysis were unrealistic. Reports say more than 10 children have been affected due to the resurgence of measles outbreak in the Grand Bassa. While in Nimba, a mother seeks financial assistance for her 1-week-old baby who carries water in her brain to undergo surgery abroad. And away from Liberia, the leaders of Ethiopia and Eritrea have signed a declaration saying the state of war between the two countries is now over. That we begin with our first developments in detail. Moswara County District 17 Representative Hassan Kiazulu says House Speaker Dr. Boffa Chambers is economically limited while urging him to keep quiet over economic issues affecting the country. Representative Kiazulu comments this in reaction to Speaker Chambers' recent proposal for the legalization of the United States dollars as Liberia's legal tender will stabilize the country's suffering economy. He added that Speaker Chambers' proposal is economically weak and does not fit in any economic analysis that could improve the people's condition.
I'm speaking as an authority within the area I'm talking about. With all the politics, I hear Boffa Chambers is saying Madam Seli is responsible. It is because he doesn't know nothing about the economy.
What do you make of his comment?
His comment is,
he's jumping there.
If I'm to jump there before this time, I'm telling you, he doesn't know nothing about the economy. He shut up. He shut up.
That's a speaker.
That is your speaker.
That's the speaker he's referring to.
Yes, it is. He is a speaker. You are referring to a state president. Remember, I'm an elected officer like him. Okay, we should be able to bring a panacea to the problem that the Liberian people will recover from.
Dr. Chambers made a proposal that we use United States dollars alone.
He doesn't know that too. He doesn't know that if your country currency is based on a not a lot of decisions as to when to print it, when to supply your needs on the market in terms of your money, then of course you can make an independent decision. The crisis the country faced with and the underdevelopment during those days, it is because we're using the US dollar, and the US dollar was being managed by the United States government. It is the United States government that could determine how much money will be printed and flow into Liberia.
Moswara County District 17 Representative Hassan Kiazulu telling House Speaker Dr. Boffa Chambers to remain quiet because he's limited when it comes to economic matters. Commenting further, the Moswara County District 17 lawmaker further frowned on Speaker Chambers for attributing the Liberia's problem to former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Even the speaker propositions that the former president is responsible for the economic breakdown, this, that. Look, it's saddening for me to tell him as a government official and the head of another branch of government, he will not find a solution but sit and bring gain because you have a personal beef with a former president. You should remember, Madam Sadi is a state president, and before he won elections here, she made sure that thing went on the way it should have gone. He should also know that.
But the allegation is that she created all this problem for this country?
Yeah, then she is Joseph Jenkins Rabo. She is Joseph Jenkins Rabo. Why you think Rodin go to the southeast 27 years of Totman presidency? What you have to say about that? So Boffa is not even know about his story. So I don't want to go there because I will condemn him continuously. He was talking things that he had no knowledge about.
Moswara County District 17 lawmaker Hassan Kiazulu. Slave weight in central Monrovia was a scene of attention when residents who had gone on the rescue mission abandoned their quest for spilled fuel. They were attempting to save the life of a man yet to be properly identified who almost got killed in a motor accident. A fuel tanker heading to an unknown destination experienced failure while climbing the Johnson Street hill and later had a collision with a jeep, thus causing it to fall in the pit. A reporter who went to the scene said, to the disappointment of bystanders, the rescuers abandoned their rescue mission and started dipping spilled oil from the tanker. Eyewitness accounts say the driver of the tanker immediately fled the scene following the accident for fear of being mobbed by angry residents. Here are highlights from the accident scene.
Bala.
Okay, Morris.
The car, the particular gas tank was climbing the hill. When he lose control, while coming down, the car was behind the truck.
Which failure or what?
It fell on the truck.
Okay, on the hill.
While coming down, the white jeep, the Bafana jeep was behind the car. The hacker, the boss, the force from the boy hit the car. I had the driver jump from through the door there and went under that car. But you know that.
Why you still the driver?
Yeah, the man on the tire on the ground. That tire on the man full, but the talking on. They are carrying. In the here room there from the car there. But they put talking from there.
How many persons were there?
Only the driver. The car there, I'm going to hear room, I saw.
The driver escaped.
The driver escaped.
Okay. Is it the first time this happened here?
Yeah, since I've been here. First time here. This year, first time here.
An eyewitness there speaking following an accident in Slipway yesterday. More than 10 children have been affected as a result of the recurrence of measles outbreak in Grand Bassa County's District Number 3. This was disclosed Sunday by Grand Bassa County District 3-8 Community Health Supervisor James Lazier. According to him, the measles outbreak, which has lasted for 2 weeks, is gradually producing an increased number of affected children. Our Grand Bassa County correspondent Sekwipo Innis, and he says on top of this development.
Yesterday, the community health volunteer supervisor of security around the camp mission area disclosed yesterday that over 8 children from around that area affected with measles. The outbreak has occurred around that area. We suppose we were able to get the actual number of children that are affected from the outbreak in the area, but they are still receiving more cases. And also to us that if coming more, you also call and give more information. Some say I'm looking for a call this morning to see how well the number has increased so far. But also to us that they were able to contact the county promotion supervisor about the situation in that part of our county. So Kim yesterday were also able to contact community health promotion supervisor of Gambasa County, Mr. Bukun, to give us information that she has not received any information update so far concerning the outbreak in that part of Gambasa County. But she will be able to focus on the district health office concerning the outbreak of measles around the camp mission there.
Specifically, which part of Grand Bassa are we talking about?
Yes, in district number 6, Gambasa County doing the number 3A in the graduation program of camp mission yesterday, where they disclosed the information to me.
So, what is the reaction? What is the county health team saying about this latest outbreak in the county?
Because it's us that you were able to contact the county health team promotion. I think yesterday I was also able to contact the county health promotion supervisor, and she told me that she had not received any information at her office yet, but she was doing everything possible to see how she could contact the district health office to give her information that has not been given. The information is possible on that for her to be informed from the district health. Mr. Jim Laffer told us that no death case yet reported about the measles cases within that area. So I also saw what the children have been affected so far. Looking at condition, they are very in what condition, and here to us the camp mission clinic is also helping the process in terms of treating my students. The children are been affected from this outbreak of measles in that part of our Grand Bassa County.
Sekwipo Innis is our Grand Bassa County correspondent. He spoke on the line with my colleague Vanin Dukley. In more county news, a 41-year-old baby mother in Nimba is seeking her financial assistance for her baby to undergo medical operation abroad. Medical reports from the Estod and Geraldine Hospital in Nimba County states a 1-week-old baby was born with water in the brain, which requires treatment out of the country. Our correspondent in Nimba County is Franklin Dolokui.
As you rightly said, she is 41 years old. Her name is Victoria Dan. She hails from district number 7. But medical doctor at the E&J, which is the Estop and Geraldine Hospital, Dr. Peter George, he told OKFN that this woman was transferred from Secretary Health Center, and when E&J received her, she went on operation. But up to present, we have been informed that the baby, they have water in her brain, so the baby, the baby hair is big to that extent, according to doctor. I pay a visit at the hospital, I saw the baby hair is too big, but they are saying that the baby need foreign treatment, so the baby monitor has come up to send an SOS score. But in my visit, I saw Representative Jeremiah who donated $15,000, including just to the Missouri Representative Roger Doma, where the woman came from a district. They too, they also provide some cash, but they too, they turn the woman to send SOS score. But the woman too, Victoria, the mother of the baby, is 2 years old. Baby, Victoria Dan is calling on government for help, because according to her, she said she want for baby to survive. So she want foreign treatment from government or other international organization.
Our Nema County correspondent, Franklin Dolokwe. Businessman Musa Hassan Ability has called on the CDC-led government to improve its public relations strategy in propagating government's plans for the people. He wants the folks at the Ministry of Information to desist from attacking people, criticizing the government, and focus on the issues affecting the state. Mr. Ability added that the lack of communication from government to the ordinary people is also responsible for the current economic pressure on government.
I think there's several things that have gone wrong. The government needs to invest a little bit into public relations. Yes, I think public relations, maybe Eugene and his crew need to get a little more support from the government.
But they are talking. They got the deputy minister.
That's not enough. It's not about talking. It's about reaching out to media outlets. It's about sitting down with editors, not on air. Basically, letting them know what is the situation, what is going on. People just need to know. But the point I'm making is that from February to July, technically, that's the time that this government has been in power. You and I know that between February and March, there was nothing going on except appointment and jobs and stuff. You know that. The government took at least 60 days to take a hold. Another month for most of the people to go through comfortably. There were ministries here that were paralyzed for months.
No head.
So these things have all now come together. The president is now pondering the way forward. The people have to be patient. They got to be patient. It is now August, September, October, November, December that you will now have to look for tangibles from government. Government plan for agriculture. Government plan for
Musa Ability, the librarian businessman, there speaking to Smith Tobis after the conversation on OKFM 99.5. A board member at the National Port Authority, Bishop Matthew Gore, says the country's economy is on the right trajectory, contrary to reports that things are difficult. Speaking Monday in Monrovia, Bishop Gore said the living condition of the ordinary people is getting better, evidenced by the price of basic commodities on the Liberian market.
Nobody needs to tell me what is going on when I know what is going on, and I have the duty to explain to people. Now, like I said, things are better now than before. I talk to those that make the US dollar. The pepper seller, they are not affected by the high rate because what? They to increase whatsoever they are selling to commensurate with the problems of the day. Now, these are some of the pluses that we are not speaking about. For example, let's face a fact. Why is it that has changed economically? You have the inflation in the US rate, of course.
That's a major change.
But does that affect you?
Seriously, it affects the whole nation.
No.
The rate is not affecting us?
No, I disagree with you.
Why do you think the rate is not affecting us?
Because I believe you earn US dollar. And if you earn US dollar, nothing had changed. Nothing had changed for you.
But the prices of basic commodities have changed.
That's why your rate, when you change it to the Liberian dollar, it also increases. So it does not affect anyone in the employer. You see, that's why I say I brought wisdom to this. Nothing had changed for you that is making US dollar. Nothing had changed for the market woman down there. Nothing had changed because of the inflation of the rate, the high price of the rate. She too now selling 2 pots of pepper for $5. So nothing had changed for the business people. The only people that are affected by the rate, and they have been affected all of the times, are those that earn their salaries in Liberian dollar. But it's not for you. And this is a reality. So I can see people talking and whatever the case may be. Those that earn US dollar, nothing has changed. The things that you were buying in US dollar, you still buying it. Things that you were buying Liberia dollar now, you change your US dollars, you get more. Not because somebody say things are high, you got to prove it or disprove it. I am a bishop. I'm new, so.
His National Port Authority's board member, Bishop Matthew Kollie, saying the country's economy is on the right trajectory, contrary to reports that things are difficult. But several Liberians appear not to be happy over the bishop's comments and reacted in this manner.
Yeah, thank you. This is Cooper Pastor, and I called from the ground capital this morning.
Yeah, Cooper, go ahead.
Yeah, Zulu and Dala. In fact, it's taking me this morning to listen to the man of God. I received offering and tithe for ordinary citizens saying that the country is hard. Seriously, because people are struggling to pay tithe these days. So let's have an offering there. The man of God receives his tithe offering. He goes to the market peacefully and buy rest. And buy all of things and carry us. Poor people are in the church. They don't have food to eat. The man of God is saying the same things. I'm so disappointed. Seriously, this morning, Dala. We in the street, we know it's unfolding. If we go on the market now, transportation this morning, I pay $170 from Banana to the Broad Street. Just the market that is that suffering. I used to pay $100 now. Additional something I've been added.
Okay.
But if you think I'm not suffering, quickly, thank you for the topic of the discussion this morning. I just want to say thank you to the Reverend for a poor analysis to the Liberian people. We Christians, we want to so Reverend in our society for now. And fully aware that the type of crisis, economic crisis that we're facing in the country, they are telling the Liberian people this morning as a revenue that it's the bill seller, the paper seller, they are all benefiting, they are all enjoying, they are happy doing a normal business. We are saying no. If you get car for your NIMA, the money you pay, it will not be easy. Here are talking about an 100 kg rare. It's been leading a force. There are challenge that revenue at zero. I bet it. Who said I will not fight for you? I will come to the zero. I wait on him myself go read the market. We'll go see. I will put my name on the chopping board.
Oh, man, you put your whole name?
I will do that. Why to land on the men people?
Okay.
Something day by day.
Callers on the OK Morning Rush via venting their anger on Bishop Matthew Kollie for standing in the defense of this government, saying everything is okay. Let's quickly acknowledge that the voice of hope in Plebo, Maryland County, and of course Truth FM is sounding Kollie in Nima County are relaying this broadcast. Planes are said to be on a way for the establishment of the first doctorate granted university in Africa, in Liberia, Africa's first independent republic. This was disclosed during the weekend by the founder and proprietor of the Best Brains Academy, Reverend Luther Tape. Reverend Tape, in an interview with the station, said the institution, when established, will be named the Best Brains International University.
We do, but our immediate project is the establishment of the Best Brains International University. That's what we are working on right now. Expanding in other countries is part of our long-range plan, but the immediate need is to be able to expand the high school to a university, and that's what we're working on right now.
When are you hopeful of having that?
It's a process, as I said, getting all the accreditations, and making sure that when we get started, we are going to produce citizens that will change the fabric and tackle the problem of our country. We don't just want to produce graduates. We want to produce nation changers, nation builders. And so when the time comes, we will announce to the country.
You want to be offering 4-degree or associate?
Absolutely. The dream is to even go up to PhD. There is no PhD offering institution in Liberia.
Wow.
That's the question everyone is asking. We have one of the oldest universities in the entire Africa. And all these little countries around us are offering PhD. But here we are, still not been able to do it. So that's part of Best Brain's dream. I'm going to tell you a lot more in detail as the time approaches.
Reverend Luther Tape Via is the proprietor and founder of Best Brains Academy in Pingsville. A professor of medicine at the University of Liberia's Douglas College of Medicine, Dr. Joseph Njo, is expected to launch a book shortly in Monrovia. The book is titled The Beginning and Growth of Modern Medicines in Liberia and the founding of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center in Liberia. Dr. George added that the book, which will make Liberians proud of themselves, narrates on how great Liberian men and women of the past with very limited resources made history in the medical field.
As I went through medical school in Liberia, that there were people who trained and practiced medicine in this country before me, but I wasn't really told about these people. And I felt that this was something that was important for me to know and for others to know too. That's why I started doing research into this subject about 4 years ago. It's taken close to 4 years to to do the research and write. With the proceeds from the book will be used to build a library, departmental library, the library of the Department of Medicine. We are training people to specialize in medicine. We're not just training people to become medical doctors. We're also training people to become specialists. And we need to have a library where people can go and check out things and get to know more. Tubman, who was the man who fought like hell to get this hospital built, said that the reason he was trying to build this hospital was so that medical doctors could learn more so that they can treat people. We know how to train people to become medical doctors. We are now training people to become specialists, and they need a library. I think the health sector is definitely recovering well from the Civil War. The Civil War devastated the health sector completely.
A professor at the University of Liberia's Douglas College of Medicine, Dr. Joseph Njo, is speaking about the launch of a book in Monrovia shortly. Meanwhile, the deputy CEO of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center, Dr. Dama Yekesin Kova, said the health facility has been cursed and therefore needs deliverance. She said her praying for the health center will form part of the entity's initial celebration of brave men and women in the medical field.
Having just this sense of pride that we had an alumnus of the medical school here being the first person to put forth a book that would depict pretty much all the entire medical history of the institution. So for me, and I said that earlier today, I am standing at least 5 inches taller, knowing the vast and rich history of our Liberian citizens in medicine in the sub-region. This, I believe, should be pretty much a template for our young Liberian doctors that are coming up today to really have a sense of pride and take immense pride in the way that they carry out their duties. Because as history will note, those duties are marked down in history for those coming after them to emulate. So, well, when you talk about the impact of the doctors in the book, you see that there is one thing that almost all of them hold in common, and that's being pioneers in medicine. even so much so as across the ocean in the great United States. So as pioneers, I think, with JFK being one of the, currently the nation's premier hospital and one of the largest hospitals within the subregion that served a vast majority of individuals, even from other countries, neighboring countries, like they said, this place being the second radiotherapy location in the subregion back in the day.
Dr. Darman Yegerson Kofares is Deputy CEO of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center here in Monrovia. Let's now bring you some reactions from our Facebook page of the stories we posted last evening. Honorable Muhammad Nabil Kroman the first. OKFM, if everything remains constant, those who are currently paid in Liberian dollars will be the same amount to be received when we shall have realized the US dollar as legal tender. I will 1,000 will be 1,000%. I'm in 1,000% support of Honorable Speaker's Dr. Speaker's proposal. Lastly, I give the Almighty Allah many thanks for saving the lives of many Liberians who have been killed due to the accident on the slipway Johnson Street Hill. Exactly, because schools of residents were fighting, and any explosion could definitely lead to the loss of lives. Yam for Doe. Good morning, OKF and family. The solution to our economic crisis is to value our currency. Please, Mr. President, let every transaction in the country be done in Liberian dollars. Liberian dollars salary of all government workers, including you, Mr. President. They'll all be in our own money, and even taxes all should be paid in Liberian dollars. This was not too clear today. George Xavier Nangbe, good morning, OKFM. I'm in serious support of Honorable Kazalu comments. This is not just a mere bluff issues, but rather a strategies formulating strategies to solve our economic nightmare brought to us by the pro-poor money eaters. Speaker is not equipped with it when it comes to fiscal issues. This is why his analysis are comical and ridiculous. You think so? Let Speaker Chambers stop shifting blames and reduce his benefit. That is almost twice the benefit of past speakers. I want to leave it right there. Maiming Hodges, I love the idea in using the American dollars. We always hide the dollars when I was growing up. We are going back to the past. This is very good for the country and the economy. Morris X Gable now comes in with his comments. Good morning, OKFM. Let the lawmakers and President George, we have found a political decision to this economic nightmare in our country, because shifting blames will not solve this problem, but rather makes it more difficult. Remember, former President Taylor once employed a political decision by calling the central bank to give a single rate for all commercial banks in the Republic. So I do believe strongly that a political decision will be necessary. Areas Gate. OKF, let Honorable Kazalu be quiet. He didn't understand Speaker Chambers well. Honorable Chambers said he believes if we dwell on the currency and further mention US dollars as a suggestion. So what is its own suggestion? What is its own suggestion as a lawmaker who represents 1,000 of people? Jusufu Kroma. Good morning, OKFM. Thanks to Honorable Kazalu for the marvelous response to the speaker. He is not an economist, and they want to steal wild allegation, and I don't want to go into that. Let's continue with more developments on the program this morning. UN Women Liberia has commenced a 5-day capacity building training in gender-sensitive reporting. Speaking at the opening ceremony in Buchanan Grand Bassa County, UN Women Program Manager Dokpa Mambadi stressed that the UN agency will collaborate with the Liberian media in highlighting gender issues.
UN Women take advantage of the opportunity to raise awareness of gender equality among members of the media through special workshops and toolkits so they can increase their knowledge and skills to practice gender-sensitive reporting. Through this initiative, media practitioners develop effective communication and media skills so that they highlight the gender issues, especially those that affect women and girls. Gender is everybody's business.
With this last local development, we take our foreign stories. The Federation of Liberian Youth has called on students of the University of Liberia to abandon their street protest. The news conference Monday Flash President Augustine said street protest is not the only means of expressing the current economic situation in the country.
Attention has been drawn to the saga involving the students from our nation's premier university, the University of Liberia, under the banner of the Students' Unification Party. Accordingly, the students had assembled on the streets of Monrovia in these critical times of our national existence to demand a reduction in the price of basic commodities vis-a-vis price stability. We too, as an organization, do recognize the harsh economic reality of the common people amid the drastic increase in prices. With this recognized reality, street protests are never the way forward in resolving these issues. We therefore want to send a message of calm and tranquility to the young people of this country.
Federation of Liberian Youth President Augustine Tama. Next is Augustine Kollie, this time to bring you the foreign developments.
The leaders of Ethiopia and Eritrea have signed a declaration saying the state of war between the two countries is over. A peace deal ending the 1998 to 2000 border conflict has never been fully implemented, and there has been tension between the neighbors ever since. The countries have also agreed to re-establish trade and diplomatic ties. The declaration came at a landmark meeting between the two countries' leaders in Eritrea's capital, Ashaman. Nigeria's armed forces have released 183 children who were being held on suspicion of having ties to militant Islamic group Boko Haram. The 175 boys and 8 girls, whose ages ranged from 8 to 18 years, were freed in Matuguri, the capital of Borno State, after being declared of an association with the group. The children have been moved to a state-run center where they are receiving medical treatment. Divers have rescued 4 more boys from a vast cave system in northern Thailand on the second day of a complex operation. The Thai Navy SEALs leading the rescue operation have confirmed that 8 boys in total have been extracted. 4 boys and their football coach remain inside the caves. Rescuers will try to free them on Tuesday, it says. The group became trapped on 23rd June after heavy rains caused flooding and was found last week by divers. The foreign news.
With those foreign developments read by Augustine Kollie, we conclude today's presentation of news on OKFM 99.5. Many thanks for watching and listening. But before we go, here are the top stories we followed in today's presentation. For recommending US dollars as the loan liquor tender for Liberia, Representative Hassan Kiazulu tells Dr. Chambers to stay off economic issues, says the House Speaker is limited to fiscal matters. No more care for others. Rescuers abandon rescue mission. Choose spilled fuel from some sort of oil tanker of a dying driver whose vehicle collided with the truck. Liberian cleric and national port authorities board member Bishop Goe says the country's economy is on the right trajectory. Contrary to reports that things are difficult. But some Liberians' reaction disagreed, saying the clergyman's analysis were unrealistic. Reports say more than 10 children have been affected due to the resurgence of measles outbreak in Grand Bazaar, while in Nima, the mother seeks financial assistance for her 1-week-old baby who carries water in her brain to undergo surgery abroad. And away from Liberia, the leaders of Ethiopia and Eritrea have signed a declaration saying the state of war between the two countries is over. Jimmy D. Wilson sat at controls and dealt with the sound. Augustine Bill Kollie was here with the news bulletin and foreign developments. Thanks to Francis Jenswa, our chief chauffeur, who made it possible for us to be here in time. Until tomorrow, my name is Trokon Freeman. I presented a pleasant good morning from Monrovia. The next is the OK Morning Rush with Zeno Miller and Jala Griffith.